You're invited to participate in a true multimedia experience coming to a home near you. LCM TV is bringing Lake County into the new millennium with news, live broadcast, information, music, talk shows, and local programming, all streaming in high definition online and soon to be on your Roku box. Join us at lcm-tv.com or be a part of our studio audience. You can also watch the shows at lakecomagazine.com as we provide programming to inform, enlighten, and maybe even enrage you. On Lake County Magazine Talk Show with Terry and Pete the Tax Guy, Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. Like racing? Try the Checkered Flag Show, hosted by Ace Naylor on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. All ages and divisions in regional and national fields. Joni Lane brings a positive light to you every Monday at 3 p.m. Pasha Space brings an international flair as they discuss ecological, health, and social issues in Haiti with people around the world. End up your week with positive, conscious sounds on Saturday at 9 a.m. with Sister T on the Bridge. This show is also simulcast on KMEC 105.1 FM in Ukiah. Our latest show, LCM TV News, is brought to you live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon, and rebroadcast at 6:30 p.m. and noon daily, Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday, featuring national, regional, and local news, weather, and sports. We have it all here for you on your local TV station, LCM TV. Join us online and soon on Roku, giving you access to all the best Lake County has to offer. We are lcmtv.com, your multimedia connection. Tune in for the fun. It's live TV at its best.
Good afternoon. This is LCM TV News at noon, not your normal news. I'm Pete Schiffman.
I'm Megan Berger.
And starting off with national news today. President Obama suggested ominously on Friday that allowing domestic surveillance programs to expire at a Sunday deadline could lead to a terrorist attack on the U.S., pushing the Senate to break a logjam on legislation, according to Mr. Obama. He warned, "I don't want us to be in a situation in which, for a certain period of time, those authorities go away and suddenly we're dark. Heaven forbid we've got a problem where we could have prevented a terrorist attack or apprehended someone who was engaged in dangerous activity, but we didn't do so simply because of the inaction in the Senate." The comments were the most explicit warning to date from the Obama administration about the consequences of allowing the surveillance powers to lapse. Administration officials have been pressing lawmakers for weeks to pass the legislation, called the USA Freedom Act, and in recent days have stepped up their efforts to portray it as a national security imperative. The measure, passed overwhelmingly by the House this month, could extend the government's authority to obtain business and other records pertaining to a specific investigation subject, to secure so-called roving wiretaps to attract potential terrorists or spies who have switched telephones to avoid detection, and to wiretap a terrorism suspect who is not part of a particular group. But the controversy has centered on the National Security Agency program that collects bulk telephone records, which the bill would eliminate. Instead, under a bipartisan compromise backed by the Obama administration, telephone companies would retain the data, and the NSA would gain access to it by obtaining an order from the Secret Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court.
Secretary of State John Kerry has cut short his trip to Europe after suffering an accident while bicycling on Saturday and is returning to Boston for medical care. Mr. Kerry, 71, suffered a broken leg when his bike struck a curb while cycling near Chanziers, France. He was transported to a hospital in Geneva and never lost consciousness. Mr. Kerry has been scheduled to fly to Madrid yesterday afternoon for an official visit there. He was then set to travel to Paris for a Tuesday evening of foreign ministers from the coalition the U.S. has assembled to confront the Islamic State, also known as ISIS. Those travel plans have been canceled, but Mr. Kerry plans to participate in the Paris event remotely by a video conference. Mr. Kerry has kept a grueling pace as a U.S. chief diplomat. According to the State Department, he has visited 63 countries and traveled for 356 days since becoming Secretary of State.
Joseph R. Beau Biden III, the former Attorney General of Delaware and the eldest son of Vice President Joseph R. Biden Jr., died on Saturday in Washington. He was 46. The cause was brain cancer. Mr. Biden has spent more than a week receiving treatment at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Washington, where he passed away. In a statement Saturday night, the Vice President said, "It is with broken hearts that Hallie, Hunter, Ashley, Jill, and I announce the passing of our husband, brother, and son, Bo, after he battled brain cancer with the same integrity, courage, and strength he demonstrated every day of his life." The statement went on to say, "In the words of the Biden family, Bo Biden was quite simply the finest man any of us have ever known." In 2010, the younger Biden had suffered what officials described as a mild stroke. 3 years later, he was admitted to the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston after what White House officials described at the time an episode of disorientation and weakness. In 2013, doctors in Texas removed a small lesion from his brain.
Dennis Hastert became the longest-serving Republican House Speaker in U.S. history, but remained proud of his days as a small-town high school teacher and wrestling coach, so proud that he relished the Capitol Hill nickname, Coach. But this week, one of those once-idolized small-town roots caught up with the 73-year-old Hastert, who in recent years has worked behind the scenes as a Washington power broker. On Friday, federal law enforcement officials said Hastert had paid $1.7 million over the last 4 years to conceal sexual abuse against a former male student he knew during his days as a teacher in Yorkville, Illinois, where Hastert worked until 1981. A top federal law enforcement official, who would not be identified speaking about the ongoing federal case, said investigators also spoke with a second man who raised similar allegations that corroborated what the former student said. The second person was not being paid by Hastert, according to this official. As you may recall, Hastert was charged last week with banking improprieties related to the payoff to the former student.
Russ Ulbricht, a.k.a. Dread Pirate Roberts, was sentenced last week in Manhattan federal court to life in prison in connection with his operation and ownership of Silk Road, a hidden website designed to enable its users to buy and sell illegal drugs and other unlawful goods and services anonymously and beyond the reach of law enforcement between January 2011 and October 2013. Ulbricht was found guilty of each of the 7 charges he faced on February 5, 2015, following a 4-week jury trial. Manhattan U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara said, "Make no mistake, Ulbricht was a drug dealer and criminal profiteer who exploited people's addictions and contributed to the deaths of at least 6 young people. He went from hiding his cybercrime identity to becoming the face of cybercrime, and as today's sentence proves, no one is above the law." Silk Road emerged as the most sophisticated and extensive criminal marketplace on the internet, serving as a sprawling black market bazaar where unlawful goods and services, including illegal drugs of virtually all varieties, were bought and sold regularly by the site's users. While in operation, Silk Road was used by thousands of drug dealers and other unlawful vendors to distribute illegal drugs and other unlawful goods and services to more than 100,000 buyers, and to launder hundreds of millions of dollars deriving from those unlawful transactions. Ulbricht sought to anonymize transactions on Silk Road in 2 principal ways. First, he operated Silk Road on what is known as the Onion Router, or Tor network, a special network of computers on the internet distributed around the world designed to conceal the true IP addresses of the computers on the network and therefore the identities of the network users. Second, he designed Silk Road to include a Bitcoin-based payment system that served to facilitate the illegal commerce conducted on the site, including by concealing the identities and location of the users, transmitting and receiving funds through the site. In addition to the life sentence prison term, Ulbricht was ordered a forfeit of $183,961,921. Judge Forrest said there must be no doubt that lawlessness would not be tolerated. There must be no doubt that no one is above the law, no matter one's education or privileges. All stand equal before the law. There must be no doubt that you cannot run a massive criminal enterprise and, because it occurred over the internet, minimize the crime committed on that basis.
The embattled Sepp Blatter struck a familiarly defiant tone as he began his 5th term as president of FIFA, blaming others for the widespread corruption scandal that has engulfed international soccer. Mr. Blatter told reporters late Friday and Saturday that the U.S. authorities chose last week to make a raid in Zurich as an attempt to stop him from being re-elected as the head of FIFA, soccer's world governing body. Mr. Blatter also said that the arrests of 14 soccer and marketing officials had stemmed from resentment by England and the U.S., which failed in bids to host the 2018 and 2022 World Cups. He also suggested that U.S. authorities acted because of American political support for Jordan, the country of Mr. Blatter's rival in Friday's FIFA election, Prince Ali bin Al Hussein. When FIFA has been confronted with the charges of corruption, Blatter has often blamed larger nations to shore up his support among smaller, less developed countries. Blatter told a Swiss broadcaster that he was shocked by comments from Attorney General Loretta Lynch that unscrupulous officials had corrupted worldwide soccer for personal enrichment. The timing of the raid was not a coincidence, Mr. Blatter told Swiss broadcaster RTS, saying, "The Americans, if they have had a financial crime that regards American citizens, then they must arrest these people there and not in Zurich when we have a Congress." On Saturday, Blatter said that he did not believe he would be arrested and denied that he was the unnamed FIFA official accused in Wednesday's indictments of offering a $10 million bribe in an attempt to influence the vote for the 2010 World Cup.
The Obama administration removed Cuba from a list of state sponsors of terrorism on Friday, a crucial step in President Obama's push to normalize ties between Washington and Havana. Secretary of State John Kerry rescinded Cuba's designation at the end of a 45-day congressional notification period, which began on April 14th when Mr. Obama announced his intention to remove Cuba from the list. The action came amid signs of difficulty in the negotiations between American and Cuban officials to carry out the historic reopening that Mr. Obama announced in December. Despite widespread optimism, officials failed in talks last week to reach an accord on reestablishing diplomatic relations and opening embassies. Cuba's removal from the terrorism list was harshly criticized by several declared or prospective Republican presidential candidates and members of Congress, a sign that détente may become an issue in the 2016 campaign. Cuba's removal from the list, which now includes only Iran, Sudan, and Syria, is an important step in Mr. Obama's effort to move past the Cold War-era hostility that he has characterized the United States-Cuba relationship.
Former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley entered the 2016 White House race on Saturday, posing a long-shot challenge to Hillary Clinton for the Democratic nomination by vowing to reform Wall Street and other corridors of power so that every American can share in the country's prosperity. Declaring his plan to rebuild the American dream, O'Malley told a crowd of several hundred in Baltimore, where he was once the mayor, "I'm running for you. My decision has been made. I declare that I am a candidate for the President of the United States." In a speech intended to appeal to progressives and other members of the Democratic left, O'Malley vowed to go after Wall Street, cheats, and others who have turned the economy upside down to their favor. The 52-year-old O'Malley remains largely unknown in a field dominated by Clinton. Already in the race is Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, an independent who could be O'Malley's main rival for the support of the Democratic left. But O'Malley made clear that he thinks Democrats deserve a choice in the 2016 primary. The presidency is not a crown to be passed back and forth between two royal families. It is a sacred trust to be earned from the people of the United States and exercised on behalf of the people of the United States. O'Malley has presented himself to voters as the next generation figure in the party, pointing to his record as governor on issues such as gay marriage, immigration, economic issues, and the death penalty.
Coming up next is the regional news. We'll be right back.
The taxman's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home, blazing on a sunny afternoon. And I can't sail my yacht, he's taken everything I got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon.
Manticorp Tax and Accounting can help you minimize taxation, establish a corporate presence, and save you money. Our over 25 years of experience in domestic and international taxation and incorporation services makes us the best at what we do. Your first consultation at Manticorp is always free, and our discounted rates guarantee you will not end up paying for what you don't get. Try Manticorp today. For more information, call 707-701-6416 or email info@manticorpusa.com.
In the summertime.
Welcome back. In regional news, on May 28th, Mendocino County Sheriff's deputies were dispatched to the Ukiah Valley Medical Center to contact a female adult reportedly to be the victim of a sexual assault. The victim, a 46-year-old, reported that Chadley Joe Gott-Simmons has forcibly raped her at least 2 times during the day while inside her residence in Redwood Valley. Detectives from the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigations Unit responded and took over the investigation. The investigation continued throughout the night, and the suspect, Chadley Joe Gott-Simmons, was located at his residence in Redwood Valley. During the initial investigation, sheriff's detectives established probable cause, resulting in Gott-Simmons being arrested and booked into the Mendocino County Jail on charges of rape, oral copulation by force, and false imprisonment. Gott-Simmons is being held at the Mendocino County Jail in lieu of a $100,000 bail. Sheriff's detectives are continuing investigation into the reported incident at the time. Gott-Simmons was arrested in February for battery, use of force, or violence upon another.
On the afternoon of May 26th, Mendocino County Sheriff's Office began receiving reports of an intoxicated subject causing a disturbance in the 200 block of Main Street in Point Arena. The callers reported that the subject was kicking business doors, banging on business windows, challenging pedestrians to fight, and walking into the roadway and stopping traffic. Upon their arrival, Mendocino County Sheriff deputies identified Daniel Vergara as the suspect and detained him. Further investigation revealed that, during the incident, Vergara had thrown a bottle at an adult male victim and shoved another adult male. Both victims were pedestrians in the Point Arena downtown area during the incident. Vergara was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon and booked into the Mendocino County Jail to be held in lieu of $35,000 bail.
The third and final day of the Bottle Rock Music Festival started quietly with a mellow mood. But by early evening, Snoop Dogg had thousands of fans on their feet, swaying, waving their arms, and chanting, "Yo, yo, yo." And by the time Southern California's rockers, no doubt, led by singer Gwen Stefani, delivered the final performance of the weekend, experienced festival goers proclaimed the third annual Napa Festival the best one yet. Organizers said attendance numbers backed that up, with more than 100,000 people estimated over the festival's 3 days, potentially setting a record. With 70 bands over 3 days and dozens of wine, beer, and food booths scattered all over the Napa Valley Expo grounds, fun seekers had to keep their stamina up. Throughout the day, Sunday, crowds heard a steady stream of all styles of music: bluesy rock and soul by J.J. Gray and Mofro, high-powered folk and bluegrass by Trampled by Turtles, rumba flamenco by the Gypsy Kings, and rock and blues by the Chris Robinson Brotherhood, led by the former lead singer of the Black Crowes, and classic rocker from Led Zeppelin, Robert Plant.
Santa Rosa police reported 4 arrests Friday night during a DUI sting on Farmers Lane near Sonoma Avenue. Police reported pulling over 895 vehicles between 8 p.m. Friday and 3 a.m. Saturday. 2 Santa Rosa men were arrested at the checkpoint, and 2 other Santa Rosa residents were arrested by police patrolling the nearby Montgomery Village shopping plaza on Farmers Lane. Police issued 19 other tickets to drivers operating an unregistered vehicle or driving without a license.
2 men arrested for suspected drunken driving after a head-on collision in Mendocino County that left both drivers with major injuries late Saturday night. The men were traveling in opposite directions on Highway 128, just east of Philo, when a 1999 Chevrolet Cavalier driven by Stephen Hunter of Ukiah crossed into the oncoming lane, according to CHP. Hunter's eastbound sedan collided with a westbound 1998 Subaru Impreza driven by an Oregon man named Coulter Miller. The high-impact crash trapped both Hunter 36 and Miller 26 of Corvallis in the wreckage of their cars, and firefighters had to cut them free. Hunter was flown by medical helicopter to Enloe Medical Center in Chico, where he was listed in fair condition Sunday. Miller was taken by ground ambulance to Ukiah Valley Medical Center. No update on his condition was available. Both were arrested for suspected drunken driving and released to the care of medical personnel.
San Francisco lawmakers are taking another stab at curbing soda consumption 7 months after voters rejected taxing sugary drinks in the name of public health. A Board of Supervisors committee is expected to take up 3 pieces of legislation on today that represent a new front in the sweetened beverage wars. One proposed measure would require soda ads posted on buses, billboards, and other city surfaces to carry warnings stating that drinks with added sugar contribute to obesity, diabetes, and tooth decay. The rule would also apply to sports venues. The other laws under consideration would ban soda ads on public property and prohibit city funds from being used to buy soda. Industry groups that spent $10 million to defeat the proposed soda tax on the San Francisco ballot last November plan to fight the bills. A bill that would have required health warning labels on individual bottles and cans of sugar-sweetened drinks sold in California. The Sugar Sweetened Beverage Safety Warning Act was introduced in the state Senate this year. It died in committee on a tie vote with 1 abstention.
As the highest-ranking state official to advocate for legalization of recreational marijuana use, Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom said his visit to southern Humboldt County is his obligation to hear from those individuals that would be most affected, the growing community. I can't form a strong opinion without the benefit of the opinion of the people that would be disproportionately impacted by this. That's the folks representing Humboldt County and the community. With a legalization ballot measure expected to show up on the November 2016 ballot, Newsom, who has already announced his intention to run as a Democratic candidate for governor in 2018, formed the Blue Ribbon Commission on Marijuana Policy with the American Civil Liberties Union of California. Over the last 18 months, this commission has been soliciting input from citizens and policymakers from within and outside the state on legalization issues. The former San Francisco mayor said he publicly supported legalization for the last 3 years. The 21 members of the commission either range from those who vehemently oppose legalization to those fully supporting it. Newsom has already held public forums on legalization issues on topics ranging from kids to criminal justice. Newsom's visit to Garberville alongside 2nd District Congressman Jared Huffman and other state and local officials will be his 3rd public forum on the legalization issue and will focus on hearing the concerns from the growing community. Newsom said he is aware of the fear among small growers that big tobacco become big marijuana and strip their ability to have a chance in the market. Newsom said, "We know a lot of folks are fearful about change. Parents are fearful about change. Public safety agencies are fearful about change. A lot of local farmers are fearful of change. So what we're trying to do is garner as much understanding of the nuances and those complexities and try to sort of weave and reflect those concerns not only in terms of the work we're doing through the task force, but informing the initiative itself." At the same time, Newsom said that they have to be careful not to overpromise. While Newsom said he is sympathetic to those who have found a way to grow and operate within the current regulatory environment, he said is working to bring the marijuana industry into the light of day and join in a system that has a larger societal benefit. "I think people are ultimately better off in a more stable environment, one that is safer and more protected from the prevailing winds of public sentiment in Washington, D.C., and for that matter, even in Sacramento." Newsom said he does not expect to all agree with him.
Our own Robinson Pomo dancers and singers performed the opening ceremony on the Valley stage at Sierra Nevada World Music Festival Friday evening, June 19th, getting the festival underway as they have for several years now. In addition, they will bless the fest with a Pomo prayer dance both Saturday and Sunday on the Solstice stage. Also, on both Friday and Saturday nights, immediately following the final sets at the Valley stage, Holistic Hooping and West Coast Juggling collaborate to form the Primordial Spinfire dance performance, a group that creates a mesmerizing, high-energy fire spectacle. Samba Stilt Circus is a collective of musicians, stilt walkers, dancers, and circus artists who will be bringing their style to the festival. Since 2006, the group has brought high-energy flair by blending traditional Brazilian drum rhythms with original music. Animated stilt walkers and elaborate costuming on top of the infectious rhythmic percussion create one-of-a-kind entertainment atmosphere that is the perfect catalyst for an inclusive, joyful, body-rocking dance party. All this and more at the Sierra Nevada World Music Festival from June 19th to 21st in Boonville. All roads lead up to Boonville. For more information and the complete lineup, go to snwmf.com. We will be back after this brief message.
All right, Mark, see if you can adjust that now. That one looks fine, but the other photo...
SSS Multimedia is sending you smoke signals, providing their clients with the ultimate communication and multimedia marketing, distribution, production, and web-based services. They feature high-def video equipment and quality audio sound. SSS is your multimedia source, from graphics for business cards to television production, radio, live sound, and everything in between. SSS is sending you smoke signals. Get your message out with SSS Multimedia. For more information, call 707-701-6416 or email info@sssmultimedia.com.
And welcome back. In local news, on Sunday evening, May 24th, Clear Lake Police received a call to Ewell Avenue on a report of a vehicle traffic collision. On arrival, the officer saw...
I'm going to start that over anyway. You got it on?
Yes, on.
Did you get him back?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay, he's back?
yeah.
All right, just tell him that we will,
Want me to start over?
just let him know we just had a mic problem and we're going to...
Sorry, folks, we'd had a little mic problem there. We're going to start the local news over again. On Sunday evening, May 24th, Clear Lake Police received a call to Ewell Avenue on a report of a vehicle traffic collision. On arrival, the officer saw that a vehicle had crashed through a fence and struck two young girls, ages 10 and 8, who had been playing in the front yard of the residence. Both children were transported to medical facilities for treatment, where it was determined neither received life-threatening injuries. Witnesses at the scene stated just prior to the accident, the vehicle that struck the children had been driving in the area at a high rate of speed and in a reckless manner. The driver of the vehicle, 30-year-old Clear Lake resident Thomas Nordell, who was still present at the scene of the accident, was subsequently arrested for driving under the influence of drugs, child endangerment, reckless driving with injury, driving with a suspended license, and violation of post-release community supervision. Nordell had a lengthy record, including 32 prior arrests in California, which include, but are not limited to, possession of tear gas, drug charges, self-arrest for assault with a deadly weapon, domestic violence, reckless driving, and evading in a car pursuit. Most recently, on May 4th, he was arrested by the probation department for a probation violation, which alone can carry a 3-year prison sentence. But his probation officer did not violate him. Thus, he was put on community supervision. At this time, a report is being forwarded to the Lake County District Attorney's Office for review, where charges were being sought against Nordell.
Dollar Tree Stores Incorporated have been ordered to pay $2,720,000 in civil penalties, costs, and supplemental environmental projects. Dollar Tree Stores is also ordered to implement an improved hazardous waste compliance program at its retail stores and distribution centers in California. The judgment is a result of an investigation into Dollar Tree Stores' unlawful disposal into store trash bins of hazardous waste products. Ignitable and corrosive liquids, toxic materials, batteries, electronic devices, and other e-waste and other hazardous waste generated by circumstances, including spills and damage, were illegally handled and disposed of at each of its stores and distribution centers at over 480 facilities in California, including those in Lake County. Instead of being transported to authorized hazardous waste facilities, the waste was illegally transported to local landfills not permitted to accept that waste. The investigation included statewide inspections of Dollar Tree Stores dumpsters by inspectors from the district attorney's offices and other environmental regulators who discovered that Dollar Tree was routinely and systematically sending hazardous wastes to local landfills. Store inspections over the years also demonstrated Dollar Tree stores routinely failed to properly handle and dispose of hazardous waste. Prosecutors alerted Dollar Tree stores to the widespread violations, and Dollar Tree stores was cooperative throughout the continued investigation. Dollar Tree stores adopted and implemented new policies and procedures and training programs designed to properly manage and dispose of hazardous waste. So the hazardous waste is now being collected by state-registered haulers who transport it to authorized disposal facilities, and disposal is properly documented. The Lake County District Attorney's Office portion comes to $1,250, and Lake County Division of Environmental Health comes to $875. Both checks were received on May 29th.
After nearly an hour of public input, the Lake County Planning Commission denied the proposed Dollar General project in Kelseyville with a unanimous vote. The Board of Supervisors will now take up the matter. The proposed site of the Dollar General is two parcels located on Douglas Road and Main Street, located directly across from Kelseyville High School. Multiple changes to the proposal were suggested by the Lake County Community Development Department. Recommendations include reducing the number of parking spots from 30 to 25, limiting product delivery times, building sidewalks, and installing landscaping, Senior Planner Mike Lynn Duval said. Approximately 40 citizens, business owners, and officials were present to discuss their concerns regarding the project. All comments were in opposition. Kelseyville United School District Supervisor David McQueen also addressed the commission. His biggest concern regarding traffic and pedestrian safety surrounding the proposed site. McQueen said, "There really needs to be a study on the traffic flow. If the data shows it isn't a concern, then that's what the data shows." According to Community Development Director Richard Coel, the Department of Public Works did not request a study, as only a small amount of traffic would result from the business. However, multiple members of the public disagreed. Joe Dell of Cross Development told the commission that the company had no issue with performing a traffic study. Dollar General is a client of Cross Development, which would construct and own the building for the store to rent. Cinda Knight, president of the Kelseyville Business Association, said that the majority of business owners in the city opposed the project.
The Lake County Planning Commission also discussed the final environmental impact report for the Valley Oaks project, a planned development in the Middletown area that's been stuck in the planning stages since the early part of the century. A second hearing will be held June 11th to consider certification of the FEIR and to make a recommendation to the Lake County Board of Supervisors. County staff requested the Planning Commission review of the FEIR as the draft report was originally discussed and approved in January and February 2009. Since the only current member who was on the commission at the time is Gil Shue, the other four commissioners were unfamiliar with the details of the report and the development as a whole. It was also the recommendation of the staff to break up the hearing of the item into two hearings and allow the commissioners to review the history of the project and all the associated documentation. According to the staff report, the applicant owner, Kimco Development, requested the 150-acre project be shelved after the commission approved it in 2009, citing concerns over the recession and its particular effect on the housing market. An FEIR was originally submitted in April 2011, but subsequent changes to the project, which include revisions of area maps and housing plans, prompted filing a revised FEIR in October 2014. Under the current plan, the development would contain approximately 380 detached single-family lots with a minimum of approximately 6,000 square feet lot size. The development is to feature a commercial area comprising of 105,000 to 120,000 square feet of development to house stores, restaurants, and other such retail outlets, in addition to the 49-bed senior care assisted living facility. An additional 3 acres for medium density senior residential, 2.5 acres for a multifamily senior residential parcel, and proposed recreational and open space improvements totaling approximately 28 acres are also included. Only people aged 55 and older would be eligible to purchase a residence within the development. Many people spoke out in favor of the project during public comments. Victoria Brandon, representing the Lake County Sierra Club, stated her organization had serious concerns about this project when it was first proposed, but several of the specific concerns they had mentioned have been met in subsequent revisions of the plan. She lauded the amount of green building being included with the development details, including a stipulation that all residential units be built solar ready. Former Commissioner Monica Rosenthal, who held her position during the early days of the plan, dittoed Brandon's statements, adding how pleased she was with the project that had been reoriented to senior housing. Also in support of the project were Fletcher Thornton, representative and current chair of the Middletown Area Town Hall, and Jose Simon, Middletown Rancheria Tribal chairman, though both did pose issues that they would like to see addressed. Thornton expressed some concern over the architectural design of the building's plan, but were willing to address those concerns in the future given the opportunity. Simon stated that the Rancheria would like to see a monitoring agreement to be put in place to help protect and preserve any historical artifacts that may be uncovered during construction. This is a very sensitive area to the tribe, he said, with somewhere in the area of 15 to 18 villages that we find a lot of historical artifacts. Hidden Valley Lake resident Larry Chandler voiced concerns over where the new development would source its water. According to the draft report, both potable and wastewater conveyance would be supplied by the Hidden Valley Lake Community Services District, a fact that, based on the current moratorium on new water connections in the district and the ongoing drought situation throughout the state, can make continuing with project unwise at this time. Commissioner Bob Malley cited a letter which states that it is the district's belief that the moratorium doesn't apply to the development because of its location. Further, the development has riparian water rights to both Puda and Coyote Creeks, and Ken Porter, proprietor of Kimco Development, added that while he does hold riparian water rights, his plan to turn over water rights to the district, which legally gives them additional sources to water. Under staff advisement, the committee continued the item until 10 a.m. on June 11th to allow the committee time to review all the documents involved with the project and to permit staff to prepare a final version of their recommendation.
The Gibson Museum needs memorabilia of Middletown days to display. They would like to put it all together this week so it can be on view throughout June and perhaps July. This year they don't have volunteers enough to join in the parade, but the Hobos will be playing for Gibson again this year. Watch for them before and after the parade. Right now, they're hoping folks out there who have been involved in Middletown Days since 1961 can help. They're looking for loans, not donations, of items that will help people who haven't been there to learn what Middletown Days is all about. Trophies, ribbons, riding gear, lariats, chaps, crops, stirrups, crowns, parade props, and of course photos of participants. They'll take good care of your things and return them promptly. If you have items from Middletown Days you would like to loan the museum, call Nina at 987-2349 or Mark at 994-2754. Gibson Museum Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday afternoon between 1 and 5.
The Lake County Symphony Association Youth Orchestra's annual concert takes place on June 7th at the Soper Reese Theater. Now numbering some 25 members, the orchestra is probably the largest in its history. The opening of the concert will feature all violin, viola, and cello students from the beginning and advanced string classes. Teachers Jeff Ives and Clovis Lewis have planned a program which their students have been practicing. The full youth orchestra is conducted by Sue Condit. The concert admission is $5 for adults and free for under 18. The Soper Reese Theater is located at 275 South Main Street in Lakeport.
The Lakeshore Lions Club are looking for 3 judges for the 4th of July parade this year. If you're interested, please contact Randy Norris at 995-3609.
The Lake County Superior Court is seeking at least 30 applicants willing to serve as jurors and alternates on the 2015 to 2016 Lake County Grand Jury panel. The 19-person grand jury is selected from the different supervisoral districts in proportion to the population of each district. The grand jury serves as the public's watchdog by investigating and reporting upon the affairs of local government. The term of service runs from July 1st, 2015 to June 30th, 2016, and may entail from 10 to 20 hours of work per week, attending committee and general meetings, responding to citizens' complaints, performing research, and investigating the operations of governmental agencies and allegations of wrongdoing by public officials or employees. The court is looking for applicants in good health who are interested in community affairs, are objective, and are able to work cooperatively with others. Applications may be obtained at www.lake.courts.ca.gov or by mailing a letter with a self-addressed stamped envelope to the Grand Jury Coordinator, 255 North Forbes, 4th floor, Lakeport, California, 95453. Applications are also available at each Superior Court Clerk's office. Further information may be obtained by calling the Grand Jury Coordinator at 263-2374, extension 2282. We will be back with the weather and sports.
The taxman's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home, blazing on a sunny afternoon. And I can't sail my yacht, he's taken everything I got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon.
Manticorp Tax and Accounting can help you minimize taxation, establish a corporate presence, and save you money. Our over 25 years of experience in domestic and international taxation and incorporation services makes us the best at what we do. Your first consultation at Manticorp is always free, and our discounted rates guarantee you will not end up paying for what you don't get. Try Manticorp today. For more information, call 707-701-6416 or email info@manticorpusa.com.
In the summertime.
Welcome back. In our local weather, Monday there will be 10% chance of rain with partly cloudy skies. The high will be a 73. Winds breezy from the southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight the chance of rain will continue with a few clouds and a low of 53. Winds holding out of the southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, there's no rain in the forecast, but we will be back to sunny skies with a high of 81 as temperatures rise. Winds shifting to the west, holding at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday night will bring partly cloudy skies and a low of 54. Winds from the south-southwest at west-southwest, at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Wednesday will bring a mainly sunny sky and a high of 82. Winds holding from the west-southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. No rain is expected through Wednesday.
And in sports, the Atlanta Braves scored 4 runs in the 9th inning to lead the Braves to a 7-5 victory over the San Francisco Giants on Sunday. Santiago Casilla, who blew his 3rd save, gave up the runs in the 9th. Prior to the 9th inning, Joe Panik hit a go-ahead 2-run homer in the 7th, and Brandon Belt and Crawford also hit home runs for the Giants. Madison Bumgarner, who retired the first 12 batters, turned in a quality start but did not figure in the decision. He allowed 3 runs and 5 hits in 6 1/3 innings and was pulled after giving up a 2-run homer to Juan Uribe and singles to Chris Johnson, who had 2 hits and drove in a run. The Giants split the 4-game series with the Braves, having lost the final 2 games. They are now a half a game behind the first-place Dodgers. Ryan Fogelson takes the mound with the Pittsburgh Pirates visit on Monday night. He's 2-3 with a 3.38 ERA against his former team. Oakland didn't need much offense to give Jesse Chavez a much-needed win in beating the New York Yankees 3-0 on Sunday. Chavez pitched 8 impressive innings, and Voit hit a 2-run homer to give the A's their first home series win of the season. Chavez, who is now 2-5, had pitched 25 innings since Oakland last scored a run for him before Voit connected and broke open a scoreless game with his homer in the 6th against Adam Warren. Chavez allowed 7 hits and no walks, striking out 6. He had a second straight start with no earned runs allowed in 8 innings, but got the win this time after losing 1-0 on an unearned run to Detroit on Tuesday. Tyler Clippard got 3 outs for his 7th save in 8 chances. Oakland has a day off before starting a 3-game series in Detroit on Tuesday.
For the fishermen out there, after a windy couple of weeks, the weather has finally settled down and the bass are starting to bite at Clear Lake. According to Troy Bila of Clear Lake Outdoors in Lakeport, the spawn is still taking place and a lot of fish are being seen in the shallows. For those who have crawdads, the fishing for both bass and catfish has been excellent. However, the only trouble is that none of the local tackle shops have crawdads. Clear Lake is loaded with crawdads and they are the ideal food for both bass and catfish. One fisherman said that he put a crawdad trap out near the state park and caught approximately 15 within 4 hours. The warm weather and emerging weed mats should start the topwater action. The bass are holding at the edges of the weed beds, and the topwater lures such as the Zara Spook or Lucky Craft Sammy cast tight to the weed beds should produce explosive action. Good luck out there.
You know, you do a lot of fishing.
Yeah, I do. Not for bass.
In car racing from the Speedway, Trek Records filmed the Taco Bell Bomber, Star Racing Modified, Budweiser Outlaws, and Mini Stocks Division last weekend during the Memorial Day Racing Show at the Lakeport Speedway. Here's a recap of the winners. In Legend Cars, Bill Kistenmacher. Mini Stocks, Billy Shaw. Outlaws, Ron Duke. Junior Jammers, Justin Helm. Pro Jammers, Cody Huber. Bombers, Bradley Brackett. Racing action continued this weekend at the Ukiah Speedway, and hopefully we'll have results on Wednesday.
In our final word, Hamiat Ulema Islami Fazl Chief Mulana Fazlur Rahman, following the Friday sermon, requested the armed forces of Pakistan to launch a military operation against jean-wearing women all over Pakistan in a press conference at the local hotel in Islamabad. Fazlur Rahman, while highlighting the detriments of an operation against the Riki Taliban Pakistan, TTP, said that the Taliban were not Pakistan's enemy and the forces need to target the real enemies of Pakistan. Fazl said that TTP suicide bombings are just Allah's wrath upon us, and so there's no need to earmark and eliminate the real enemy of Pakistan, every woman who wears jeans. When asked how jeans-wearing women were enemies of the state of chief, he retorted angrily, "From earthquakes to inflation, all kinds of disasters are caused by the immodesty of women. A woman that is not covered like a sack of flour is walking and talking weapon of mass destruction for her state. And Pakistan has a multitude of such nuclear missiles in all its major cities." Fazl then went on to lay the blame on the Balochistan crisis, energy shortfall, and the deteriorating security situation upon the immodest woman as well. If you wrap up these women in sacks and keep them stored in your houses, do you think the Taliban brothers would attack Pakistan? That's what they want. Sharia left, right, and center, and women inside houses living in their sacks. And once Allah stops delivering his wrath via the Taliban, the economy would automatically improve through foreign investment, which in turn would improve the energy situation. Every problem's solution lies in taking care of the women. Fazl then openly requested that the two sheriffs, the army chief and the prime minister, to openly declare war against Pakistani women and launch a military operation, stating that Pakistan's sovereignty and the security of the citizens are at stake. And when that's the case, the only logical approach of the state would be to launch a military operation.
I'm glad you read that story. I screw up those names completely. Thank you for joining us. Join us again on Wednesday, right after the Lake County Magazine Talk Show. And remember, you can watch us on the archives at lakeholmmagazine.com. I'm Pete Schiffman.
I'm Megan Berger.
You all have a great day out there.